Welcome everyone, it is I, the Spoony Gamer, and today we are taking a look at 8 franchises that need a Legacy Collection. For those of you who do not know, a Legacy Collection is a collection that has most or all of the games packed into them. Some of the more notable series that have done it have been Metal Gear Solid, Mega Man Legacy Collection just recently did it, and I would like to see it become a more popular trend, especially for those of us who have not had a chance to go back and play some of the original titles. So today I thought I would take some time and share my personal 8 franchises I would love to see be made into a Legacy Collection. Kicking off the list at number 8 is Castlevania. Castlevania has been a long-running series that has entries clear back to the NES days. And while Konami has taken strides to step away from console gaming, as a whole, I think it would be a way for them to release things at a fairly cheap price and be able to maybe get a new market into the Castlevania games. With Castlevania's spiritual successor being on the way, Konami could benefit from it. Whether or not we'll see it remains to be unseen. I personally have not gotten a chance to play through many of the Castlevania games, but it's definitely a franchise that I would like to revisit. Proceeding the list to number 7 is the Resident Evil franchise. Resident Evil is one of those franchises that unfortunately seems to be hit or miss with a lot of gamers. And for good reason. The series has so far strayed from what the original franchise had set up that a lot of people feel alienated because of it. But at the same time, I think being able to reintroduce the series through a Legacy Collection would be brilliant. I mean, we already have the Origins Collection, which comes with Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil, a remake of number 2 on the way, number 4, number 5, and number 6 just recently came out for the PlayStation 4. Why not just release them all together, Capcom, and give us Code Veronica for the PlayStation 4 and Resident Evil 3? They're off to a good start anyways, so it would just be better for them to bundle the franchise together and sell it as one collection. Number 6. Love it, hate it. You can't deny the fact how fun Mario Party is when you have a group of people together. And this is one series that I would like to see made into a Legacy Collection, just for the fact that the newer Mario Parties, though the mini games are fun, its boards tend to be lackluster. And I hate to say that, because Mario Party has always been my go-to game to sit down with friends and family and play together. So for Nintendo to release it wouldn't really be a big deal, I think. You know, they could figure something out. But I would definitely like to get my hands on a Mario Party collection, especially those from 4 and beyond, because I have such fond memories of the Nintendo 64 Mario Parties. They would be a blast to play. Sitting in at number 5 is a Mega Man X collection. It's definitely not out of the question, since Capcom just recently released a Mega Man Legacy Collection. But I'd like to see Capcom take it a step further and release a Mega Man X collection. As a kid, I always enjoyed Mega Man X a little bit more. It took things more sci-fi, more into the future, and I thoroughly enjoyed that as an experience. So to be able to go back and replay some of those platformer games, trophy support, achievement support, you know, give myself a little bit more difficulty, a little bit more challenge, because those games in itself were already hard enough. And I did beat a couple of them growing up as a kid, so it would be fun to be able to go back and replay through the series with a Legacy Collection. Number 4, a Donkey Kong collection. how I enjoy the Donkey Kong games. And with the Nintendo Switch coming out, I only hope that Donkey Kong gets to see some fresh release. I would really love to have another 3D platformer in the Donkey Kong series. Donkey Kong 64 was among one of my favorites. But that being said, I feel like the series could really benefit from a legacy collection. Starting it off with Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3 for the Super Nintendo. Those were some of the best 2D platformers, in my opinion, still today. And even on a graphical standpoint, they still look good. Not great, they've aged, but they still look good. Donkey Kong 64 was one of the games that Rare did for the Nintendo 64 that I just thought was brilliant. And with Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze both being really good games, I would like to see them make a legacy collection. So we can have all those on one console rather than going through and having them across multiple systems. Donkey Kong is a series that I want to be able to sit down with my children and play from beginning to end. Number 3. Final Fantasy Legacy Collection. You knew at some point that a Final Fantasy Legacy Collection was going to make its way onto this list. Knowing me, knowing my love for the series, it's no doubt that I would include Final Fantasy on there. As much as some of the spin-off titles I'd like to see being brought over to the PlayStation 4, such as Crisis Core, Final Fantasy Dirge of Cerberus, I would settle for a series collection excluding 11 and 14. And honestly, to be able to play the games even with HD support, sprites, trophies, this collection would keep me enthralled for quite a while. And Final Fantasy has had so many vast entries, so many entries clear back from the NES era. With Final Fantasy 15 coming out this year, it's one of the franchises more suitable for a legacy collection, especially so past gamers can go back and replay some of the titles in the franchise that they may not get a chance to play. Sitting in at number 2 is the Legend of Zelda franchise. Another long-running series with quite a few games. I think a Legend of Zelda franchise would be very, very fitting. The reason behind that is Zelda has a huge timeline. And I find myself more and more wanting to go back and replay the games after watching a video talking about its timeline. And with Nintendo releasing the Nintendo Switch, I think it could end up being a wise move. Especially how big of an impact that Legend of Zelda has had on gaming as a whole. It's one of those series that could really benefit from a legacy collection. So newcomers to the series have a chance to be able to go back and play each game, learn its story. I would even like to have it come with a compilation maybe of in what order to play the game so people could understand the timeline as a whole as it went down. Number 1. Tales of. Tales of series has been a series that I am a recent newcomer to. Kicking it off with Tales of Xillia, I have now had a huge desire to go back and replay some of the Tales games. Some of them are not cheap to get, some of them run $100 for used copies. On the PlayStation, they're just not easy to come by. Not to mention, there are a few entries such as Tales of the Tempest, Tales of Innocence, and Tales of Rebirth, and Tales of Destiny 2 that we have not gotten our hands on. for those of us who are outside of Japan. I really want to go back and experience the series as a whole, so I feel like that a Legacy Collection would be the perfect way for Namco to release all of the Tales games in one collection and give them to us and say, here you go. I could even tolerate a port of Tales of Rebirth and Tales of Destiny 2 with Japanese voiceovers and subtitles with no voice acting. As long as I could get my hands on those games, I would be excited. Being new into the series, the Tales series is one of those I really feel like I just want to grab all of the games and go back and replay it. That's what I did with Final Fantasy when I got into it at the age of 12. They had them readily available, so it was fairly easy to come across. But the Tales series has been going on for so long, and I'm getting into it so late, that it's becoming really hard to get my hands on those titles. So a Legacy Collection for fans like me would be awesome. If anybody by chance somehow stumbles across this video, please talk to your higher ups and say, hey, there is a demand for this. There are people out here I know, just besides me, who would enjoy a Tales of collection. You guys have been watching the Spoony Gamer. This has been my list of games that need a Legacy Collection. What titles do you think deserve a Legacy Collection? What titles do you want to see be packed into a Legacy Collection to celebrate the series to celebrate the franchises? Leave those comments down below, guys. I'm curious to hear what you have to say. And most importantly, stay happy, be happy, game happy. The Spoony Gamer is checking out.